Yo, 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 yo! What's up, everybody? Just going to make sure you guys can hear me. Yep, you guys can hear me. Definitely. Holy, my volume is too high. Sorry, I was listening to this tune very, very, very high. I just like it. I just love the Halloween theme music so much. I was listening to it like almost at full blast through the mic. So yeah, happy Friday, everybody. Hopefully you guys are having a great TGIF. We are going to do something super duper today. I'm going to not only Zilu. Hello, my amigo. What's up? How do you say hello, amigo? And there was one more word I learned. Amigo. Greetings. Let's see. Hola. Hola, amigo. Hola. How you doing, mate? I'll just pop this chat out so I can see things better. GG. Oh, nice. Chill. I think you're the first one I have from Chill in our family now. That's awesome. Welcome. That's sick, actually. Holy. Chili, I think it's like... Yo, Panda, what's up? What's up? Yo, 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 yo. Let me share the screen so everybody can see. Sup, sup, what's up? Let me do it this way so my captions doesn't kill everything. So hopefully you guys are ready for a big one today. Today is going to be a lot of fun because things we will be doing, right? Let's go over that. But yeah, 100% Z2, right? Amazing. Nice to see somebody from Chill here. That's cool. Okay, that's fine. Actually, a lot of people here, the English is not everyone's first language, right? So I hope the captions I have, the auto-generated one, are helpful. So I know there are certain issues with them, but that's Google. I can't do much. But hopefully those are helpful. And you're on a great day because today we will be covering part 3 of Linux fundamentals, right? In which we will be covering a little bit of harder, but as well as like, I'm from Canada, boss. I'm from Canada. But yeah, as I was saying, we'll use text editor because there is configuration file, password files we want to change, certain files, important files we want to change inside, certain utilities which will be amazing to know, right? Because we want to download certain things, scripts from our repository, GitHub to a remote server. Processes, that's how I was able to find that my computer had a virus because I looked at the processes and I'm able to understand what's going on. Automation, of course, like AI automation, everybody's trying to automate things. Then package management, another big one, different softwares, right? Basically software management, or you can say logs, and conclusion. But also, we'll talk about like something interesting which happened last week. Google was down. Google's API, right? Cloud's API was down. If I don't know if you guys are following that. And I was looking for an answer why it was down. So I found like, okay, what happened? But I didn't get a proper answer why Google was down. And they lost a good amount of money in there. If you look at Google's stock, they lost a good amount of money. They were at 176 and they are at now, they almost reached to 166 and just went a tank, right? So what I figured out based on certain videos and stuff, because Google said Google's code, I think their 25% of code is written by AI, right? So could be a reason that the code they generated, because the code they created didn't have much of like error handling, couple of other checks which are very necessary to make sure the site is up, and if something goes down, there's some error handling making things work. But because like there were no checks, and I have personally used Gemini and ChatGPT o3 Mini a lot for code generation, for my work, and even personal stuff. And even Claude, actually Claude 3 I use a lot, Claude 3 or 4 I think, whichever I get from business. But like I use all three of them, and I can definitely say very hardly they are doing good at error handling, and that could be a reason Google was down. And so yes, if you're not a good AI or a good programmer, you are not doing you are not that fast at development, or not able to use AI to generate code and look if the code is good or bad, then only your job is in trouble. If you're creating bad code, which Google can, the AI can do in a couple of minutes, make sure you are able to do prime level good coding, and your job will be safe years to come, because there is some governance of code needed. I have talked to some people in my higher level up in my company, and they all talk about that there is definitely a big field coming, governance of AI, because code won't be generated a lot, but there is a PR review process needed, right? A review of the code needed, so that, and only good programmers do the review, so that's coming big, and that's something I am developing recently. So that's about Google, right? Why their system tanked, and like how they lost a couple billions within seconds, right? And a lot of SLA things that happened. But yeah, now with that being said, let's go over to our main bread and butter, Linux Fundamentals Part 3. We covered Part 1 and 2. This one will be more or less theory, but because we will be using a machine, I will be able to show you certain interesting things on the TryHackMe server, which will help us understand, okay, what we actually can do, or if we are on a remote server, which we have zero clue about. So hopefully that will enjoy. And then if time permits, right, one interesting thing we will do is go towards our over the wire hacking CTF, a war game. So be ready. Hope you guys have your glasses on, have your hacker hat on, and let's get going. And I'll make sure you guys can see everything. So first thing I'll do is go up here. The captions probably are not killing this part. So once I start my attack box, and this is a premium room, so you should be a paid member, but to see my YouTube videos you don't, right? Or a Twitch. So you click on THM. When you click on this button, it opens full screen. So we'll do that and close this split view. And let's go over what they are saying. Welcome to part 3. Welcome to part 3, the finale of the Linux Fundamentals module. So far, throughout the series, you have got hands-on with some fundamental concepts and used some important commands. This room is going to showcase some useful utilities and applications that you are likely to use day to day. You are also going to advance your Linux foo skills by learning about automation, package management, and service application logging. So all are very interesting and important things, right? If you're going into the real world. Deploy your Linux machine. So let's deploy R1. We will get our IP address here in a couple of seconds. Yada, yada, yada. And we have our username and password as TryHackMe. So once this is ready, we can log in. We started our box. Okay. And this machine. So there are two machines. One is the one we will be attacking, right? The target machine. One is our main, like where our attack box is. Two different type of machine. Attack box is the one we use. Target, which we attack. Okay. So attack box, one we use the hacker's computer. Target is the victim's one, to make it clear. Terminal text editors, task 3. Throughout the series so far, we have only stored text in files using a combination of echo command and the pipe operators, the one less than and two less thans. This isn't an efficient way to handle data when you are working with files with multiple lines and sorts, right? So if you have like multi-layer like Nginx configuration file and all those stuff. Introducing terminal text editors, there are few options. Introducing terminal text editors. There are a few options that you can use, all with a variety of friendliness and utility. This task is going to introduce you to Nano. Honestly, after I'm learning Vim a bit, but Nano is currently my favorite one. But also show you an alternative called Vim. Big, which TryHackMe has a room dedicated to, which we'll cover soon. Nano, the name of the text editor, right? Like we have VS Code, Notepad, and blah blah blah. It's easy to get started with Nano. To create or edit a file using Nano, we simply use Nano and the file name, replacing the file name with the name of the file you want to edit, right? And we say like Nano my file, and you will see something like this. So let's get started there about that. We'll open our terminal here, right? Okay, looking good. So now let's say I want to see, or I want to change a file, let's say burp.json. I created a file using touch in my desktop. Let's say go to first desktop, and I want to create a file, touch my file, right? So if you go here, there are a couple files. The one we care about is my file, and now I'll go use Nano my file, and you see here GNU's Nano 4.8, and the name of the file is up here, and you can see all the things, all the controls kind of at the bottom, which is way less intimidating than the Vim. Once we press enter to execute the command, Nano will launch, right, our text editor, where we will just begin to start entering or modifying our text. We can navigate each line using the up and down arrow keys, or start a new line using the enter key on your keyboard. So what does that mean? I'll show you everything, and that's what they are doing. Hello, try hack me, blah blah blah. Nano has a few features that are easy to remember and covers the most general things you want on your text editor. So very basic things you want in any text editor, right? Searching for text, copying and pasting, jumping to a line, and finding out what line number you are on. So this is not a Nano tutorial, we'll cover just a little bit. So let's say if I'm here, right, this is the first line, and I can type anything with hello world from censored hacker yo. Simple. And if I want to exit out of this, right, I want to save whatever is there, I will do Control X. Do you want to save modified buffer? Do you want to save your changes? Y for yes, N for no, right? So I can either type Y, and then this will go file name. Do I want the same file? Yes, I will click enter. And now if I go cat my file, this. But what if I made some changes? Let's say what's up, like this, and I do Control X and N, nothing will be saved. So if I go again, same content, so it didn't save the buffer. That's what it's saying. A very simple thing, and that's why Nano is easy to get started. Simple. Three things you have to. One, actually, Control X. That's all you have to remember. Rest of the prompts are given to you, right? You can use the features of Nano by pressing Control key, which is presented with the caret on Linux, and a corresponding letter. For example, to exit, you do Control X, right? And let's say if I want to do a couple of other interesting things, and let's just do it, right? Give me Nano commands for following. Easiest thing to do. Let's see what all these things want. Is it went to pro? Oh, never mind. So we have Control W for searching, right? And Alt to repeat the search. Control plus caret key or Control 6 to start marking. So in this case, you have to mark where you are. Like for example, with mouse, I'm marking for P and till where you want to go. Move the cursor to the end you want to copy and Alt 6 to copy the selected one. And pasting Control U. Okay. And jumping to a number, Control Shift and Control Shift with dash and press the enter line. So let's do that one easy. And finding out which line we are on. Okay. So let's do that. I'll type a couple of interesting things like I am happy. I love my viewers. Let's study. Whatever, right? So first we'll do Control C. You can see which line I am on, right? Which line I was on. If I do Control C again, line number 3, right? 42%, column number which I am on, character number, right? So if I go again Control C, column number 1, character this one out of 82. Now if I want, let's say to copy, there was Control W. Okay, never mind. That closed the whole thing. I think with I have to make sure that doesn't I think that collided with Google's one too. This is fine. We can do the jumping the line. I think this one is not there. Control Shift dash. So let's say if I'm at Control Shift and dash, column number, enter the line number or column number. So let's say I want to type this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 and then comma 5. So I'm at, if you see my cursor, it's at character number 5, which is E, right? Just before that, my cursor is there and at line number 5. So hopefully a quick demo of what Nano can do. Now Vim is a hard one, right? And if you master Vim, if you use Vim, you can go to any party, any conference, any group of friends, go there, say you use Vim and leave. Just leave. There will be a BDE there. You will be the BDE. People will hate you, but you will be the biggest guy in that conversation. That's all. So Vim is a much more advanced text editor. Whilst you are expected to know all the advanced features, it's helpful to mention, or you are not expected to know all the advanced features. It's helpful to mention it for powering up your Linux skills. A lot of big guys use Vim, and I have used Vim. I like it. I need to learn more. Simply, if I put it. Make sure. Yeah. Some of Vim's benefits, albeit taking a much longer time to become familiar with, includes customizable, right? You can modify the keyboard shortcuts to be your choosing. So for copy or marking something, I can say Control M for mark, right? Starts the marking, and Control C to copy everything, Control V instead of Control U, all those things. Syntax highlighting is useful if you are writing and maintaining code. This is what you see when you are doing VS Code, right? You see here, let's say if I open Java file, or I want which shell. So you see there is like a syntax is highlighted, couple of things, making it cleaner, better, those type of things. Making it a popular choice for software developers. Vim works for all terminals where Nano may not be installed. That's why it's a big one, because even in the smallest computers, Vim will be there. Nano, not guaranteed. There's a lot of resources such as cheat sheets, tutorials, and sorts available for you to use. So I'll drop this link. TryHackMe has a room for showcasing Vim. So if you want to learn, you have used this. And now edit task 3 located in TryHackMe's home directory using Nano. What is the flag? So For this, we first have to SSH into our server attack box. Oh, sorry, the target machine. This is Vim. This is Vim's. This is the Vim box. I'll send you guys this first. Okay. This is Vim. Then we have the cheat sheet of Vim. Okay. And now we have, sorry, I was copying the IP address. 1 second. Something is in my eyes. Okay. So I go up here. And we know the username and password is TryHackMe. So I'll go resend this. It'll come quickly in a second. Control X, Y for yes, right. Now I want to just SSH as TryHackMe at this. Yes. Password will also be TryHackMe. And now you will see my name comes as TryHackMe in Linux 3. So let's look at task 3 is a file. We'll go nano, or we can do Vim and say we have THM text editors as the code. Now, if you are using Vim, this is probably one of the most Googled question of all time. How to exit here? There is no escape, doesn't work, right? So for that, you need :Q to quit, right? Probably one of the most questioned thing on Google. Probably one of the big ones in hacking community or in like tech community in general. Text editors text editors, right? Okay. Now let's move to task 4, downloading general utilities and useful utilities, right? We have downloading files, wget. As a DevOps engineer, you will use this a lot, or even with Docker, or as a software engineer, you will use this a lot because wget is one of the ways you get if you want to get any type of software, which using your script you want to download, like AWS and stuff. It's like my battery is low. Okay, I'm back. So a pretty fundamental feature of computing is the ability to transfer files, right? For example, you may want to download a program, a script, or even a picture, just like from Facebook. Thankfully for us, there are multiple ways in which we can retrieve these files. You might be wondering why we want this, right? Why you want to learn how to download as a hacker. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are inside a attack box. You are inside a target's machine, right? Right inside, and you have not SSH. You directly got access, let's say with keyboard, and there is no USB, and you want to install something, right? Best way would be, let's say if you have GitHub repo, personal GitHub repo, something you created, you can just do wget to this public repo, and you can get things like linpiece. Go check it out. Linpiece, that's the name. What linpiece is a script that I personally do all the time to find what I can use to get some privilege escalation in either Windows or Mac or Linux. If you see Mac, Linux, Windows, linpiece. So very beautiful, very interesting project. And this is what you want to download in whatever target you are hitting to get like admin level privileges. Okay, so let's talk about that. We are going to cover the use of wget. This command allows us to download files from the web via HTTP protocol as if you were accessing the file in your browser. We simply need to provide the address of the resource, the URL that we wish to download. For example, if I wanted to download a file named myfile.txt onto our machine, assuming I knew the web address, it would look something like this. So wget, let's say if I'm going on TryHackMe, assets, TryHackMe, additional Linux fundamentals, and this file. For us, it would be basically, I can give you example. The linpiece example I gave you. If I want like specifically the Linux one, right? If I wanted specifically that one, I would just go on this linpiece builders. I can go to these parts, linpiece builder py. I can use this file, and this is the URL, a specific URL for a particular file, or whichever I want, right? For WinPs, for Windows I want, for Mac, whichever works. I think Lin will work, and those yada yada yada. Okay. Now, transferring files. Pradhan, big fan. Thanks, man. Thanks. 100%, bro. 100%. Thank you so much for the message. 100%. 100%, man. Thank you. Thanks for the message, bud. And I don't know how to do shout out. Like, should I just say your name, Pradhan? I don't know how to do shout out. Like, I guess this is it. I am so sorry. I'm very bad with these things. I'm good with hacking. So hopefully you're learning something from there. So now we were talking about transferring files from your host, your machine, using SCP, right? What is SCP? CP, you know, is copy. Now SCP is secure copy, right? Over SSH you can do this. So secure copy or SCP is just that, a means of securely copying files, unlike the regular. Oh, okay, so you just say big shout out and name. So yeah, shout out to my man Pradhan here. Attaboy. So thank you so much. YouTube here is kind of slow. Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, man. Thank you so much. Means a lot. But yes, we were talking about another very important Linux functionality, SCP, secure copy, right? Just like in copy, what you do, if you're copying something, simple idea is you give the command that, hey, I want to copy the source and the destination, right? I want to copy the file, let's say my file, from here to another, let's say another folder, let's say desktop or something, right? Like copy the shortcut or something like that, same thing. So unlike regular copy command, this command allows you to transfer files between two computers using SSH protocol to provide both authentication and encryption. So what we did now is that in SCP we are like moving from desktop, downloads, blah blah blah. With SCP command, I can say, hey, source will be, let's say, GitHub or my attacker's machine. And this is what happens in real life, right? Attacker's machine, when you get a phishing email, right? What it does, it copies a executable exe file, executable, from the attacker's machine to your machine or your target machine. So that's what happens, and it gets the executable here and it launches it. So that's the game. So that's why this is a very important one, especially if you are trying to conduct phishing email attacks and all those type of attacks on an organization for simulation purposes and ethical reasons. This is a big one. Working on a model of source and destination, SCP allows you to copy files and directories from your current system to a remote server or your remote system to your current server. Oh, thanks, man. Thank you. Provided that we know usernames and password for a user on your current system and a user on the remote system. So we need to know the name, which we already do as an attacker. We know our own system, but we need to know the target machines, and that's why we want them to click on our system so it executes a program, gets us the password and authentication, and it copies everything. For example, let's copy an example file from your machine to a remote machine, which I have neatly laid out for the table below. So the IP address of the remote server, the server we want to copy from, that's the idea, right? Your machine to remote server. So okay, second one is remote server. So here will be SCP my server remote server mine. Okay, so we have IP address, the address on the internet, user Ubuntu, name of the file on my system is important.txt, name that we wish to store it as, so it will change the name of the file we want, transfer.txt. So the command will be, excuse me, let me grab some water. Oh, thank you for thanks, Panda. Thank you. Yeah, I recently a friend helped me cut the beard. It was nice, really nice friend. So as I was saying, SCP, secure copy. If you want to copy from R1, right? If I'm executing on my machine, I don't have to give the username or password. I am executing it as the person, so I don't have to give it. But if I'm transferring it to a different server, I give the username of the person at where the user is at this machine, and where to transfer the file. So you give a full path of the file, including the name of the file. You don't want to leave it hanging. And now let's reverse this and lay out the syntax of using SCP to copy a file from remote to R1. Basically what will happen, if I'm copying, let's say documents or transfer.txt to mine one, take this and flip it. This will come here and mine one will go here, whichever file I want to store. That's how simple it is. So we have the IP address of the remote server, Ubuntu, documents.txt and notes.txt I want to store as. So Ubuntu, where is Ubuntu? The machine IP address, what file, and then what I want to store it as. And if you see, I didn't give a full name in the second one. Why? Because notes.txt will be in my current directory. If I execute this command on desktop, it will be executed. It will copy the file on desktop. If it did on download, same thing. Yada yada yada. If I can give it, and it will be stored there. Serving files from your host web. Ubuntu machines come pre-packaged with Python 3. Thank God, not Python 2 and 3. Python helpfully provides a lightweight and easy to use module called HTTP server, which we will be using for some of our attacks. This module turns your computer into a quick, easy web server. So basically, just like you have create a web server, you have your website like Facebook and thing. With using this package, this file, this this library of Python inbuilt software, we can create a web server just like that. An easy web server that you can use to serve your files, right? Like a OneDrive for your files, which is created by you, where they can be downloaded by another computer using the command curl or wget. Curl is same as wget, just its brother, basically. So Python 3's HTTP server will serve the files in the directory where you run the command. But this can be changed by providing options that can be found within the manual pages. Simply, all we need to do is run python 3-m HTTP server. So, or dot server. So if I copy this and run it here, you see it started a HTTP server at this one. That's how simple it is. Okay. Excuse me. You know, it's a 8 hours day of work, 8 hours of work. And in the terminal to start this module, we type this command. In the snippet below, you are serving the directory called web server, which is a single named file. So here we are inside the web server directory. We did this command. And now if somebody accesses this HTTP server, they will be inside the web server directory. Now let's use wget to download the file using this IP address and the name of the file. Remember, because the Python 3 server is running on port 8000, we currently majority of the time is 80 or 443, right? So 1 name, 2 name, 3 name, 4, no. You will need to specify this, just a single name, I see. You will need to specify this within your wget command. For example, we have wget and this. This is the IP address of the machine which we had, right? So, I'm just looking. Panda is going crazy in the chat with the pew pew. YouTube, you need to put some emojis too, man. Okay, so I have this server. And you know this server's IP address, right? If we go up, this is the IP address. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I told you I wasn't well yesterday. So yeah, 10.10.82.54. So we have the same server they are talking about, 10.10.82.54. So if I start a HTTP server here, just like I did here, but let's see. Web server, is it here? Is there one? So let's go inside Ubuntu. Nope. Okay, now let's go back to our TryHackMe. Okay, so we'll just start our server simply. This starts our server. Now what we have to do, there is my file on this server, yes, wget on here. Python. So note that you will need to open a new terminal to use wget and leave the one which is running Python 3 like it is. This is because once you start the Python 3 server, guess what? I don't know. What's up, Panda? So yeah, Python 3 web server, it will return that terminal until you cancel it. So till we cancel the whole thing. So what I will do is, I'll create a new server. Or create a new terminal. I'll create a whole new window. And I want to show you something interesting. So we'll do like something like this, wget. Actually, I can do wget. And the file name with HTTP the server name 10.10.82.54 if I'm not wrong. And then I will go where I will get my file, because it is in the same directory, or it's task 3 actually. Task 3. Connection failed. Okay. Oh, 8000. I have to give the port as well. Whereas it went to port 80. So if you see here, it was trying to connect 80, which is the usual port. Had to give it 8000. Got the whole thing. Task 3. And you can see the connection was made by this server, a get task 3 file. Guess what, chicken butt? Of course, panda. Okay. Same thing we saw. So basically that's what happens when you're downloading a file. You make a request, you get the file, and this whole gibberish is going in the background. This on your server and this in the background server, just like, okay, this computer tried to contact us at this time, and what was the request. Remember, you will need to run the wget command in another terminal. So here we started our Python 3, and in the other one we tried to just get the flag. One flaw with this module is that you have no way of indexing. So you must know the exact name and the location of the file you wish to use. This is why I prefer to use updog. What's up, dog? Of course. Oh, I actually got caught. A more advanced yet lightweight web server. But for now, let's stick to HTTP web server. So I'll just post this one, updog, which is, I'll explain in quick second here. Okay, so when you are going, let's say when you open a file or a directory or a folder, you open a folder or a directory, whichever you like to use, right? When you open these, you can see all the files that are there, right? You can see all the files in your desktop folder, documents folder, downloads folder. With HTTP Python server, we don't see that. We can't see. But with updog, right, we can do that. And that's the whole thing. We can see all these, so we know which one to pick. Simple. Ensure you have connected to the server. We did. Note, use Python's HTTP server module to start web server in the home directory. So we did in the TryHackMe, and we had to get this file. So let's do that as well. And remember, because we haven't ended the server, we can still make a quick request, and we go dot flag .txt, and we got it here. Another request was made, right, in the back. Why I can't see it? Sorry, 1 second, lads. Okay, here, and we see it now. I just have to do ls. I have my file, and to see the flag one, I have to do ls-al. I see the flag.txt. Let's get cat that, and then flag wget web server. That's it. That's our flag. Sorry guys, my nose is blocked, so kind of it's hard to breathe. Create and download files to further apply your learning. See how you can read the documentation of Python 3's HTTP server. Control C to end the server. So I can just go here. Control C ends the server. Simple. This is the cool thing. If you can make your own server, have some kind of indexing, a great tool or a great project to show on GitHub, and even use it for your resume. The same. Now, processes 101. Processes are the programs that are running on your machine. They are managed by the kernel. Who is the kernel? Not your kernel from the Kentucky Fried Chicken, not that guy. What is a kernel? Let's say if you have a computer, in simple words, your Windows sit here, Windows or Linux and everything, right? There are certain more applications and stuff in the middle, And then you have the hardware. Here you have other apps as well, some more apps. Softwares, whatever. The thing that connects app and the hardware is called kernel. Your Windows apps and everything that's connected through the hardware is called the kernel, and this is what, when we refer to as Linux, this is what we are referring to. This guy. This is your main bread and butter, the hardest thing to like very hard thing to program, and that's what is, ladies and gentlemen, your Linux. So kernel is the one creating all the processes, making sure everything is working. And so processes we are looking for, all the processes that happen are happening here. Processes are programs that are running on your machine. They are managed by kernel. It starts it takes care of all the things, looks at what process is done, what's going on, what they need. Where each process will have an ID associated with it, also known as PID or process ID. The PID increments for the order in which the process starts. 60th process will have the process ID of 60. Viewing processes. We can use the friendly PS command to provide the list of running processes that are processes as our user session, and some additional information such as a status code, the session that it is running, how much usage time of the CPU it is using, and the name of the actual program and command that is being executed. Now here the fun begins. Now here is the fun. Okay, let's close this terminal. And I will close this one as well. No need. Now I will show you why I can tell, right, that this server is running on Amazon's cloud, not on Google or Windows, on Amazon cloud. Why do I do PS? There are two. If I do PS aux, there is a lot more processes. Oh, I accidentally closed it. PS aux. Why is not AUX? Now let's see. There is Python running on this, right? You see that? There is other ones. There is Bash, which we ran, and you can see which is the user who ran this. There is Nginx, which is web server. There, and in this game, we will also have some EC2 related ones, which will be probably on the top. I think that's one of the very starting ones. So there are various workers which are also again seen in cloud, a bunch of them. Journal, I think I have to, network manager, Python 3 again. Which Python 3 is used for many of these, right? And you see here Amazon SSM agent. It's using Amazon's information or Amazon services to run, and also for database it's using PostgreSQL. So, and that's what you can tell. Okay, this is a running PostgreSQL. I know I have to attack or I have to hit using PostgreSQL, and that's how you are able to tell all the processes, all the software running. This is your task manager, and if I have to kill a process, if just like when you open a task manager, one of the things is not working, you find the process ID of whatever process that's running, and you do pkill, and let's say I want to kill the bash 10169 or kill 9. There's this one as well. Going to kill it. And this hanged. We're just killing the other bash, so now it won't work. I can kill the Firefox. I can kill any kind of app I want. Let's say I create another one. You see, the process ID has changed from the previous one. And if actually I can show you something very interesting. Let's say if I create, let's say I run a program, let's say a for loop, right? If I ran this for loop, it will create a process because it will be infinite one, and I can kill from here. And this, because this one bash I killed, so it's not going to respond anything. Okay, so now note that how in the screenshot above, the second process PS has a PID of 204, and then when you run the command below it, it has incremented to 205. Why? Because the first process you ran was 204, you ran PS again, so it's another process, and that's why it's 205. To see the processes run by other users and those that don't run from a session, basically like the system processes when the computer starts itself, like the starting processes, you do psaux command, the one I did, and that's how I can tell it was using Amazon services, right? So I do psaux and I see so many of these init files and all those processes. Note that you can see a total of 5 processes. Now, note we know that we have a root and semantic user. There are 2 users in this. If you see, and their process ID first one, the very first one that started it all. Another very useful command is the top command. Top gives you real life statistics about the processes running on your system instead of a one-time view. These statistics will refresh every 10 seconds, but will also refresh when you use the arrow keys to browse the various rows. Another great command to gain insight into your system is via top. So let's play around and see what top will do for me. So if I go to top, I see what are the processes that are taking most amount of CPU, most amount of memory at a particular like in 10 seconds, and what was the command that was used for this, right? For example, if you are running some LLM, some GPU, right, commands for Python, that those will be taking, those are the top commands, right? And you can see the memory usage and blah blah blah. So interesting thing, because this is, if let's say your system, you have a virus, you feel like, this is how you can tell. Managing processes, you can send signals that terminate processes. There are a variety of types of signals that correlate to exactly how cleanly a process is dealt with by the kernel. So there are ways to kill things, and how cleanly to kill, that will to tell the kernel, the main big guy, how cleanly you have to kill this. To kill a command, we can use appropriately named kill command, the associated PID that we wish to kill. The kill ID, so let's say if the process ID is 1337, I say kill 1337, just like the one I did for the previous one. What it did, it crashed it, it stopped it. So now the terminal I was in, it won't work. Below are some of the signals that we can send to a process. So we say sigterm, kill the process, but allow it to do some cleanup. So let's say when you are closing a game, you want it to close easily and save all your data. Then you use sigterm. Sigkill, kill the process, doesn't do any cleanup, basically murder it. Sigstop, again, stop the process, boom. Don't let it clean whatsoever. And those are good, right? Sigkill and sigstop. Why you want to use this is when, let's say, a virus is running, a system, a computer program that you don't want to run on your system. That's when you want to use something like this. Sigterm, as I said, computer ones, which actually you want to use for your games. And let's try something. Actually, I would love to try. Let's do another tab. And you know what? I can show you something. Let's see if I want to go Sublime Text. I started Sublime Text. cancel this guy. You see Sublime Text? I want to see PS aux. I want to see which one of them is Sublime Text. So this one, 11430. Now let's kill this. 430. You see? The Sublime Text died, killed, murdered. Boom. And that's how you can this is what happens in your text task manager, right? It's killing this. That's what's going behind the scenes. So now if your task manager is not running, come here, do it, kill it. Exactly, like the headshot. Yeah, that's a good one. I love it. Technically, sometimes it's okay. Sometimes, like in case of processes, it's okay to murder it, right? Like the kill headshot. That's how you do it. And it's good to know, right? Like what's going in the background, because then let's say if the the task manager itself freezes, you know what to do. Bang bang. Chiki chiki bang bang. Okay. Do the chintata chitta chitta. Remember that if you ever have to. Let's start off by talking about namespaces. This is big, and I will give you a good understanding of what namespaces are, because this is how, when, let's say you might have heard of Docker, right? Let's say if there is a very big server at Google, our big guy Google, right? In a very big server, we have multiple things running, like Google Maps is running. Let's say Google Search is running. And then we have, let's say, the Google Cloud is running. Another big thing. Or actually, not the cloud. Let's say Gemini. The AI. So all these things are running. How do we know that a process, right? A process of, let's say, maps doesn't interfere with Gemini or search process? How the kernel is able to manage these processes and keep them separate? And that's one way, or the big one, is namespaces. The operating system uses namespaces to ultimately split up the resources available on the computer, such as CPU, RAM, and priority processes. Where certain processes needs higher priority, right? Business class ticket. Think of it as splitting your computer up into slices, similar to a cake. Processes within that slice will have the access to run or a certain amount of computing power. However, it will be a small portion of what is actually available to every process overall. What that means is, let me make it go here, clean this guy. So, just like I created this map, let's say this much resource is given to maps. This much is for Gemini because it's a very big feature, it's an AI, and search again is also a big one, right? So I'll go search as blue. Should have gone Gemini as white maybe, or brown. One sec. So how this is working, this itself, the thing I drew is namespace. It is technically separating all these processes, so or even the resources we have, separating it. So maps use this much process. Let's say if I had, this was my SSD, 1 terabyte goes to maps, 2 terabyte goes to search, 4 terabyte goes to Gemini, right? It's separated it that way. And that's what namespaces is. It will be a small portion of what actually is available to every process. Namespaces are a great for security, as it is a way of isolating processes from another. Only those that are in the same namespace will be available to see each other. Why this is important? This is your cloud. This is your cloud. How come Amazon, Google, all these big guys have these servers? How come they are able to run Discord? Like Google went down, right? So how come Discord runs on the same server as, let's say, Scale AI and Google itself? How all of them run namespace? And it's a very heavy topic. People do PhD in this, but I'm trying to explain as much as possible so you know when you see the real application. We previously talked about how PID works, right? And this is where it comes into play. The process with an ID of 0 is a process that is started when the system boots. So the one which is like the very, very starting ones, right? When the computer is actually starting, that's a very small PID is when you, let's say you're rebooting a server or stuff. Those are system ones. This process is the systems init on Ubuntu, such as the system D, which is used to provide a way of managing a user's processes and sit in between the operating system and the user. Heavy stuff. Basically, this process is a hidden one started by computer itself so that it can manage other processes. It's like the manager process. For example, once a system boots and it initializes system D, it is one of the first processes that are started. Any program or a piece of software that we want to start will start, as you know, as a child process of this. Remember again, we were talking about same with the root. Just like root also follows the same idea. This is your system process. This is your system process. What does the process do? It executes. So this process will start other processes, like let's say your clock on your system, your Discord app, and yada yada yada. So this main process, this big guy, starts all these other small processes. So these are in a tree. These are like a child, right? Let's say started Google as well, Google Chrome. This is your child process. Remember, and you might have, let me show you the meme. This is just for fun. Imagine I typed this. So just so you remember this. A very dirty image. That's not good. Let me see a good one. So FBI is watching us all the time. So I want to make sure you guys see what they are looking for you when they are looking for you. And I think memes are a good way for you to learn, right? Killing a child. Killing a child. FBI is looking at you. Now, killing a child process, Stack Overflow. FBI doesn't care. So you know a child process is one of the how I can kill one of the, let's say I want to close Discord, is hanging on me. This is how I do it. It's fun, eh? I love those. Thank you for the reactions. I love that. So this means that it is controlled by system D. And if I want to kill something, probably system D is the one killing it. But will run as its own process, although sharing the resources from system D. Because a child, right, you are the parent, you give your resources like your food and your clothing, or basically your shared space, to your child. Same thing, system D is sharing its resources, CPU, memory, to the child. Very like a human-like behavior. Make it easier for us to identify and like. So system D, that's why it's sharing, is the big boss, so it can see other ones. Getting processes and services to start on boot. This is so valuable for you. I have used it. Some applications can be started on boot when the system starts that we own, right? For example, you might have seen Teams coming up, or let's say your Zoom or WebEx coming up. Hate those. So what is happening? For example, web servers, database servers, and file transfer servers. This software is often critical and is often told to start during the boot up as soon as the computer starts of the system by the administrator. Admins want these database to start ASAP. In this example, we are going to be telling the Apache web server to start Apache running Apache manually, and then telling the system to launch Apache 2 on boot as soon as it starts. Enter the use of systemctl. This is a very important command even as a hacker, and I'm going to drop something very big which will make you a really smart computer guy, at least here. So GTFO, yes, this is exactly what you think. What is GTFO? And here comes systemctl. So GTFO means get the F out. In systemctl is one of those commands, so important to know what is it used for and what you can use it for other than what it was supposed to use. Why I'm talking about this? Because GTFO bins are, including systemctl, are one of those commands very powerful that you can use to gain heavy administrator privileges when in time of need. So now you understand why it is very powerful, how it is very powerful. Let's see what it is. This command allows us to interact with systemd process. So we are able to talk to the manager process. Continuing on our example, systemctl is an easy to use command that takes the following formatting: systemctl, option, and the service or the software. For example, to tell Apache to start up, to tell Apache like web service software to start, we'll say, hey, systemctl, can you start a process for Apache 2 server or Apache 2 software? Seems simple enough, right? Same with if we wanted to stop Apache, we just change the option. So what we want to do, we want to stop it. So we go systemctl stop Apache 2. Now, what is enable and disable, right? Enable and disable comes in the game when, let's say, I want to enable it, means Apache I want to start as soon as the system reboots or this system starts. So that's enable, and disable is when I do not want this software. So for example, I have two apps. I want Discord. I have Discord on my system, and I have Teams, Microsoft Teams. This is my personal computer. I want Discord to start as soon as I boot my computer, and I do not want Teams to start when I start. I do not want Teams to start. So what I will do systemctl enable Discord. Now every time I start my computer, Discord will start. And for Teams, I will do systemctl. You guys got this idea. Disable, if it is enabled already, Teams. This will stop Team from running again and again when I start the computer. An introduction to backgrounding and foregrounding in Linux. Processes can run in two states, in the background and in the foreground. Right? For example, Wi-Fi is running in the background. I don't see an app here, but I know it's running in the background because I can see I can see a simple logo on bottom right. Some similar to that, background and foreground. Foreground, I know the Chrome is starting. I can see it. For example, commands that you run in your terminal, such as echo or things of that sort, will run in the foreground on your terminal, as it is the only command provided that hasn't been told to run in the background. So you have to tell it to run in the background. Echo is a great example as the output of echo will return in your foreground on your screen, but wouldn't in the background. Take the screenshot below. So we have echo high THM. It comes back. But now see this, and this is important. Echo high THM and ampersand sign. We didn't get high THM. We get a process is running, and once the process is done, then only we'll see high THM. It was running in the background, and if I did it like 100 times, it will keep running. We can try this with an example. Let's say I have ping 5. So ping is like, can I connect to this server? And the address I'm giving is the Google one. You see 5 packets are being sent. Dash sees 5 packets. Now I give this. Wait, this isn't working? Huh. Hold up. Oh no, it did. So if you see, this process was running in the background, and what I see, it is running, but after the terminal has closed, that part is closed, it's just going to output. And if one which was not giving an output will be fine as well. Depending on which one gives an output and which one doesn't, it might not even show. Here we are running echo high THM, where we expect the output to be returned to us like it was at the start. So we see in the start, right? But after adding the ampersand operator, the and sign, to the command, we instead just given the ID of the echo process rather than the actual output, right? So we got the process ID as it is running in the background. So we can find when we do ps aux which process ID, based on process ID, which was the command ran by us. This is great for commands such as copying files because it means that we can run the command in the background and continue on with whatever further commands we wish to execute. Example, let's say if I'm running a LLM model, a AI in my background, right? I don't want to see all the reasoning. I just want you to give me an output, right? Do not show me your work. Do not show me anything. I just want the output. These steps I do not want to see. And that's when you want those ampersand sign. Let me drink some water, holy. My throat is gone, lads. Will be nice to get some rest on the weekend so we can do some CD of war games after this. So, and if we are, let's say, copying, or when we are when we are extracting a bunch of zip files, runs in the background. We can do the exact same while when executing things like scripts. Rather than relying on AND operator, we can use Control plus Z on our keyboard to background a process. This is also an effective way of pausing the execution of a script and command like this in the example below. So this is a loop. What is this? This is a for loop. An infinite loop keeps running. How do I stop it? Caret sign and Z. Do you see it? Caret sign and Z. Caret sign and Z. So that's Control Z. To stop, what did you stop? A process which was from the script background.sh. This script will keep on repeating. This will keep on looping until I stop. Until I stop or suspended the process. So how we do the process, we know we can just do Control Z or Control X also sometimes work. Now our terminal is no longer filled with various stupid messages until we foreground it, which we'll discuss below. So we have background, put in the background using the ampersand. How we bring it in the foreground. Now that we know we have a process running in the background, for example, our script background.sh, we can be confirmed by using PS aux. So with this, we can see the process that's are running in the background, and this is our first process here, the big one. With our process backgrounded using either control plus Z or the AND operator, we can use FG. FG is the command. So other one was just ampersand sign. This one is FG to bring this back to focus. So see the outputs. What's going on, what this process is doing. Verbose mode, where we can see the FG command is being used to bring background processes back to forward into the use of terminal. So if I ran this script, I wanted to not show any output, I do AND operator, right? If I had background dot sh, I do ampersand operator, goes in the background, and I just do FG. This will come in the background and show me all the output. Simple. You don't have to remember this part specifically, just good to know. Why? Because in future, very near future, we are going to do something that is like this, which is, to be honest, this we covered a couple of weeks back. We'll like actually a month or two back. But when you have connected a SSH to a server, and you want to make that shell a bit more strong, a bit more fruitful, that's when you use these things. So with that being said, let's work on this, and that will be a bit higher level, so don't have to worry. If we were to launch a process where the process ID was 300, what would the ID of the new process be? Lads, I would love some answers. I'll read the questions, try to answer it so we can talk if you are missing something, okay? Don't be afraid. Nobody knows each other, so you don't have to be afraid of being wrong. Just answer. That's how you learn. So, what will be the process if the previous ID was 300? What will be the new process ID? Right? What happens? If we wanted to cleanly kill a process, what signal would we send it? So, if you remember, it was sig term, right? Sig kill and sig stop, if I'm not wrong. Which one of these? Locate the process that is running on the deployed instance. What is the flag given? So we can see the flag. So we'll do that as well. What command would we use to stop the service, my service? systemctl command, which we'll be using. Which option of systemctl? What command would we use to start the same service on the boot up of a process? So if I have my service again, I want to start on the booting, right? When it starts the computer. What command would we use to bring a previously backgrounded process back to the foreground? Okay, so interesting ones, easy ones too. So first, because 300 was the last one, it increments by 1, goes to 301. If we wanted to cleanly kill something, it will be sig term. Locate this. So in our deployed machine, we have, right, you see this was done, and I did control C as I was saying, or control X too, or control C actually. Now let's see if I can get the SSH from here. No, SSH TryHackMe at, and the IP address. Simple password TryHackMe. Now let's look at its processes. We'll do as PS aux, important. So let's look through some of the interesting ones. We see our flag. THM processes. Interesting. I like that it headed legit inside the process. I like that fact. So now we have to stop a process. We do system CTL For start, we do start. For stop, we do stop. And my service. To make it Discord, like the thing I was giving, for example, systemctl enable, and for boot up my process, it will be name same of the process. What command to bring it to foreground? FG. Now, maintaining your system with automation. Cron tabs. Let's see what it is. My throat hurts a lot, but okay, we'll go forward anyways. Why not? Okay, so cron is something you will see a lot if you are going into DevOps, or let's say if you are going into database related, or business administration, or BI, business intelligence, or even in backend, right? You will see this a lot. And this is a very important one. This is a really cool feature which you can use a lot. This is your alarm clock. Cron is your alarm clock. Let's read about it. Users may want to schedule a certain action or a task to take place after the system has booted, right? Take, for example, running commands, backing up files, and or launching your favorite programs such as Spotify or Google Chrome. We are going to be talking about cron processes, but more specifically, we can interact with it via the use of cron tabs, the UI, right, or the way to interact with cron. Cron tab is one of the processes that is started using during boot, which is responsible for facilitating and managing cron jobs. So this is the manager of all the cron jobs, cron processes. This is the big guy. A cron tab is simply a special file with formatting that is recognized by cron processes to execute each line step by step. Cron tabs require 6 specific values, and I will give you something very interesting which a lot of people have issues with. So let's first look at this. I'm so sorry, my throat is hurting a lot. I'm so sorry, lads. So yeah, let's talk about the 6 cron things talk about. Min, minute. R, what R to execute at, right? So, and doom, day of the month to execute. Which month of the year, which day of the week, the actual command that will be executed, right? What that means is, let's say I want, like, I'm giving Amazon, right, my AI idea, like, hey, every third of every month, or like, let's say the 10th, first, let's say 3rd January, right, or I'll say January, on 10 at 10 a.m. and 10 minutes, sing happy birthday to me, right? So what I gave, which minute, 10 hour, 10th hour, day of the month, 3rd, month of the year, 1st, day of the week I don't have to give because this does that. When the day of the week I have to give, let's say every Monday at 10:10, right, every month of every Monday, sing happy birthday. So you are telling a process, you are creating, let's say, a worker process to do it. And how to know what is the right way to do it? There are a lot of cron time formats. One of this is cron tab guru, a beautiful one that you can play around with minute, hour, day, month, day of the week, and star is like doesn't matter. This is a very beautiful website you can use to become better with Linux and AI itself. I'm sorry, my throat is gone. But yes, and then at the end, what is happy birthday? That's the command. This is my command. The big thing. Right? So let's look a little bit more in detail what's going on. Let's use the example for backing up files, right? Every Monday, back up all my files from my iPhone. You may wish to back up semantics documents every 12 hours. We would use the following formatting. This cp, so this is our command, cp recursive, so all the files inside documents into the backup folder. And what is this? Let's see. In our cron tab guru, I type, oh, there is 0 in the start, right? At minute 0 past every 12th hour. So after every 12 hour, do this. And that's what, as you can read, every 12 hours. So we give, this is our time, do this. So hopefully it's making more sense. Don't worry about these numbers. You never have to memorize these. You can always Google these things. Never have to memorize. Just look at certain examples. Okay, what is what, right? For certain things, you will know where people use it, and that's it. Do not memorize it. No need. Not helpful at all. Good to know, but if you don't, it's not going to harm you. An interesting feature of the cron tabs is that these also support the wildcards or asterisks. If we do not wish to provide a value of that specific field, so I want like happy birthday to sang on every 3rd of every month. I do not give a number here, January. I give asterisk. I give this asterisk. So every 3rd I have my birthday. Wish me happy birthday, lads. Okay. We don't care of what month, day or year to be executed, right? We want every 12 hours. Only that it is to be executed every 12 hours simply, right? So we use asterisk for everything else. This can be confusing to begin with, which is why we are here with some great resources like cron tab generator that allows you to use something, and then cron tab guru, they also used it. You know, I'm providing some good stuff. Cron tabs can be edited using the cron tab-e, where you can select an editor such as Nano to do that. Let's look at cron tab generator. So you can type minutes, hours and stuff, and it will give you whatever it wants, and the command too as well. So it will give you the answer. I'm just going to paste it. I used it probably once in my life, twice, hardly ever. I don't do much cron tab. I seen people do it around me, but that's also like once in a while you do it, get it done, boom boom. So let's see, we have something here, cron tab -e. So we have Nano, right? And we scroll down, reboot. Every time you start reboot, this processes.ch. Simple. And you probably have it, use it on your Linux machine and show, or actually don't show, some things might be revealed. But yeah, let's look at here as well. Let's cancel this one. Cron tab -e. So you see there are multiple more things like start Python 3.h, web sockify. Then there is couple VNC config. This is the reason we are able to connect to this server, and bin bash. Couple more things, right, for this software, which is good. We got to see this. Oh, I have to do escape, colon, yeah, and here. Okay. Now, your cron job can be run, and you can just modify these things, right? So you can just add these. Ensure you are connected to the deployed machine. Yes, we are. When will the cron on the deployed machine will run? Okay, so we go here. On a deployed machine, when will this run? At every reboot? So I think that's the answer. At every time. So no particular time, but every reboot. Nice. Okay. Last two tasks, which are, again, actually logs is very important because gives you a lot of information. But also package management, which is going to be helpful while downloading. And when when you do sudo update, things don't work. When you try to do sudo install and things don't work, and then you do sudo update or apt update, and then it works when apt install works. This is going to be showing you that answer. Introducing packages and software repositories. When developers wish to submit software to the community, they will submit it in an apt repository, APT. An advanced persistent thread is a stealthy thread actor. Really? What is the full form of APT? Ubuntu APT repos full form. Advanced packaging tool. So, feel free to tell TryHackMe this is wrong. This is not that. This one, APT, means Advanced Packaging Tool. If approved, their programs and tools will be released into the wild. Two of the most redeeming features of Linux shine in light here: user accessibility and the merit of open source tools. When using ls command on a Ubuntu 20.04 Linux machine, these files serves as the gateway registry. So, hey, let's put it this way. I told Ubuntu, if you don't know, is a Linux company, right? Is one of they have their own Ubuntu software. So I told them, hey, I created my LLM model app. Right? They check it and they're like, okay, good to go. Green signal given. So I get the link. There is a link attached. So if anybody wants to download doing apt install LLM app, right? This place contains those sources list. These things contains those information where to find my app, where is the link. And you can see here, security.ubuntu, right, and bionic security main restricted universe multi-user. This shows where to find the repository with all the information. Whilst operating system vendors will maintain their own repository, you can also add community repositories to your list. This allows you to extend the capabilities of your operating system. So if I'm using iPhone but I want Google Play Store on my computer, that's what they are saying. Additional repositories can be added by using add apt repository command or by listing another provider. For example, some vendors will have a repository that's closer to their geographical location, just like CDN network, right? Like repository, think about it, a server where the packages are stored, and that's the closer one. So example for me, it will be in Canada or west side of US, not India. Somebody in India, they won't be using the Canadian one. Managing your repositories, adding and removing, important. Normally, we use the apt command to install software onto our Ubuntu system. The apt command is a part of the package management software, also named called apt. So both, basically apt is used to install. So you do install apt install Chrome, installs that for you. Contains a whole suite of tools that allows us to manage packages and sources of our software to install or remove software at the time. Sorry, this is getting a bit boring. Soon will be fun. One method of adding repositories is to use add apt repository command. We will illustrate above, just like we illustrated above, but we are going to walk through adding and removing a repository manually. So I create my own repository and I add it. Whilst you can install softwares through the use of package installers using package, the benefit of an apt means that whenever we update our system, the repository that contains the piece of software that we add also gets checked for updates. So what we do when we do apt update, we get to see which other repositories like Chrome, Firefox, those are, if the update is there, it updates for them as well. In this example, we are going to add the text editor Sublime Text to our Ubuntu machine as a repository, as it is not part of the default Ubuntu repositories. Okay, that makes sense. Vim is the good one. When adding software, the integrity that what do you guys use? Like if I create a poll right now of Vim or Nano, what is your guys one, or Sublime Text? What is your guys one favorite? Tell me please. I want to see. When adding software, the integrity of what we download is guaranteed by the use of what is called GPG, GNU Privacy Guard keys. And you might have heard of PGP, which is called Pretty Good Privacy. A professor was sent to jail for teaching that in the late 90s. So, interesting things. These keys are especially and essentially are a safety check for the developers. Here's our software. If the keys do not match up with your system, what your system trusts and what the developer used, then the software will not be downloaded. What this means, right? Let's say I created a software. This is my AI app. Amazing AI app. I'm going to be a trillionaire tomorrow. Now, this API app, let's say, is compressed, right? And a key or a fingerprint is formed. Now, I am getting from online. I'm trying to download the same app, right? But somebody hacked it in the middle and sent me some different package. So this AI app is now, because I'm showing in red because it's attacked. So these two, this will have its own fingerprint. These two won't match. And that's what they are trying to say here. That when we the integrity of what we download is guaranteed with the use of GPG keys, these special keys, this special fingerprint. And when these keys are essentially safety check, right? Here's our software. The keys do not match, the fingerprints don't match, right? That means the software is compromised. So to start, we need to add GPG keys to the developers of Sublime Text 3. Note that TryHackMe instances do not have internet access, and so we are not expecting you to add this to a machine that you deploy, as it would fail. So first we download a GPG key for Sublime. I'm not going to do this. There is no point, honestly. But I can just send you these commands so you guys can test on your own system. I'll just send here. Okay, you are able to download it. Download the key. Now that we have added the key to our trusted list, we are telling, okay, trust this key. We can now add Sublime Text 3 repository to our apt source list. Remember, source list. A good practice is to have a separate file for every different community or third party. So everyone, mine, Microsoft, Google, all three will be different. So they don't, like if I accidentally add a wrong one to a file, I delete that whole vendor if that particular vendor is compromised. Let's celebrate a file. Let's create a file with Sublime Text.list in the etc source list.d and enter the repository information below, like below. Here, enjoy lads, enjoy, have some development. Happy birthday. So we have touch Sublime list, right? Sublime Text list, and we can see that. That's simple. And now you use Nano or text editor to add and save the Sublime Text 3 repository that you added. Download sublimetext.com apt stable. After we have added this entry, we need to update the apt. So now we are telling apt, hey, there were like earlier, let's say if it was just looking at the Ubuntu one. Now apt, our system, like will look for all the things in a particular folder. So it will now look for our Sublime one too. And that's what we are saying. With apt update, we do that. I'll just post this as well. So if anybody is following, let me know what your guys' experience was by adding this. I want to do something much more cooler. Once successfully updated, we can now proceed to install. I don't even use Sublime, so I don't see a point in doing it. We can now proceed to install the software that we trusted by using apt install Sublime text, right? And that's it, because it knows the server, it knows the what is the link, what is the key, so it can download. And removing packages is as easy as reversing them, right? Basically, the process is done using add apt remove ppnna command or by manually deleting the file. So I will just delete apt remove Sublime text. Simple. I know this one went fast, but honestly nothing much to do in this. One thing about apt though, I'll give you one interesting thing that happened and what actually created a panic in this world. I think last year, XZ backdoor. Why now? I think if you have actually seen this XZ backdoor meme, now you know that because there was an issue with one of the utilities in Linux, every time apt update XZ happened, that utility happened which you didn't even know about, a hacker got access to your system. And imagine how many times people run apt. That's why it was a very big issue. This runs all the time and your system was compromised probably during that particular time frame. Now, let's talk about logs. And I don't know if you guys know about log4j incident. Do look it up. A very popular one. Some people made a lot of money because of it. We briefly touched upon log files and where they can be found in Linux Fundamentals Part 1. However, let's quickly recap. Located in the var log directory, these files and folders contain logging information for application and services running on your system. The operating system, once again, my sister. The operating system has become pretty good at automatically managing these logs in a process known as rotating. Rotating. I have highlighted some logs from the services like running in Ubuntu. We have Apache 2 web server, our web server. Then we have logs for fail to ban service, which is used to monitor attempts of brute forces when somebody is using SSH or trying to brute force into R. Then UFW service, which is used as firewall. So important to know, because I will say probably kernel related logs, cloud init, very first one when you are actually starting your EC2 server or something, right? Authentication logs, system logs, package, depackage, all those. These services and logs are a great way of monitoring the health of the system and protecting it. Not only that, but the logs for services such as web server contain information of every single request. So Facebook, you request to change your display picture, your name, your password, all those requests are in this place. Allowing developers or administrator to diagnose performance issue or investigate an intruder's activity. For example, the two type of logs files are access log and error log. Right, in the Apache. So error ones, when the system crashed, some kind of error happened. Access, somebody was trying to log in as the administrator through, let's say, a WordPress site. These are of course logs that store information about the operating system, about how the operating system running itself, and actions that are performed by users, such as authentication attempts, brute force attempts, forgot password, all these things. Look at the Apache 2 logs of the deployable Linux machine. So let's look at that. slash var cd. So we have, let's say, Apache 2 here, right? So let's look into that. So we have access log, error. One thing, fun thing I like to do as a crazy guy, I do cat, and remember we have wildcard. It will log me all the other ones. So I get access log will give me permission denied, right? And somebody was trying to do some dirty here. JPG, right? Got some file from my system. Error log, permission denied. Somebody tried to access, permission denied. Some interesting thing here which I can't read. And then there is another host access log, permission denied. Permission denied, probably actually I could not. That could also be probably true, that I don't have the permission. So that's permission denied. Interesting. Can I do sudo su root? No. Authentication failed. But yeah, that's basically it. You guys can, that's how you can access it. What is the IP address of the user who visited the site? So IP address of the person who downloaded this cats and dogs one, right? So this will be the IP address. Let's copy this guy. Fits perfectly. What is the file did they access, right? What file? You get and the file place, the name of the file. I'll remove cats and dogs JPG. So they accessed an image file. Conclusion and summary, and let's talk about something more interesting later. But let's look at this. Welcome to the end of Linux Fundamentals module. So kudos to all of you, because a lot of people were here. So I'm very happy that a lot of people learned some Linux. Your familiarity with Linux will improve as we get to interact with it over time. Linux has the potential to do very powerful things with relative ease, as you have hopefully discovered through this module. To recap, this room introduced you to the following topics: using the terminal text editors like Nano, Vim, journal utilities such as downloading and serving context using Python web servers, a look into processes, that's how you can tell what's going on, diagnosis like of your x-ray of your whole system, maintaining and automating your system by the use of cron tabs, package management, and reviewing logs. Continue your learning, right, with bash scripting. I'll drop this link, a good one, because you learn about basically shell, bash, right? A very good one. I have done it, really good one. So I'll send it here. You might be thinking, hey, if he has done it, why it's not showing? I have two IDs. So one, I'll show you on my different ID too, which is higher level. And then regular expressions is a good one. I don't like regular expressions. That's where I use AI. I hate regular expression. Very important to learn though, if you want to learn. I don't like them. Terminate the machine, right? Continue learning other. So kudos to everyone here. Let's talk about something way more interesting now. We learned a lot, but we didn't put much things into practice. So 1 second, lads. My throat is gone. I was sick, so my nose is actually blocked. But yes, we did it no matter what, right? So important thing I want to actually talk about. Two big things which will be going forward. First, on the weekend, because a lot of people actually mentioned that they are looking for job, and stuff. So I always go and tell them to do lead code, right? So what I will be doing using Python or Java, I haven't decided. I'll be going over a bunch of problems only on Sunday, and I will be available in my Discord channel, right? Showing you how I think, and you can actually ask me questions, right? So I'll give you my Discord. You can ask me questions. I will be available during the PST daytime zone, or let's say in the evening. I don't know. Not sure, but I will like an hour before. I will let you know, or even tomorrow. I will let you know day before. One second, we will be covering not TryHackMe next week, but over the wire bandit hacking game or war game. This will help us get more familiar, and this is what I think everybody should. If you are interested in Linux, do go over this. I can't stress this enough, because you will be touching from point 1, level 0, about things we covered, like the cat command, ls, using man pages, and blah blah blah. Couple of those grep, those ones, good commands, find, the commands that you will use during as a hacker a lot. You will be just learning how to use them and find different flags. Very big important one. Probably might take us 2 days. Not sure. Haven't done bandit in a long time, so I don't remember how it was. And last but not the least, I will say, oh, I got a cat Linux. Nice. Generated. Nice. I'll put it on my, and you can use this to generate your stuff on your profile on GitHub. I like to do it. Next in our game is, like it says here, is Windows fundamentals. What is Windows fundamentals? If everybody use Windows, right? With Azure's amazing business strategy, Azure like Windows or Microsoft's amazing business strategy, Azure is the biggest one, right? And Windows is used by so many people with the hybrid license. And we will be covering the file system, couple of interesting things. I haven't done Windows fundamentals ever, so we'll learn together. And that's probably our goal for the next week, along with Over the Wire. And let me drop that link as well here. And please let me know, like some people has mentioned, right, they want to learn about getting a job. So lead code is my way to go, my go-to. Please let me know if there is any way I can help you, and I will try to do as much as possible, which is in my hand, without like overwhelming you and trying to be very helpful. So let me know if I can be of any help. Again, this is my Discord. Come join me. Come talk to the other people. Ask other people for help. There are some people with 2 decades of cybersecurity experience. Crazy smart people. Do that. And yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you so much, everybody. Sorry, my throat was gone, my nose was gone today, and yesterday also I was sick. But hopefully I come back strong over the weekend with some good rest. Till then, thank you. Thank you for all the messages. Thank you for all the likes and the reactions. Right. And yeah, thank you, and stay safe, stay healthy, and hope to see you next week. Until then, have a great weekend. TGIF or TG Saturday, I guess. And bye. Bye, everyone. Have an amazing, great night, and I'll see you later.